Welcome back to Rekt Radio, the only show that looks at a world full of fear and confusion and sees a once-in-a-generation buying opportunity. I'm Sunny, and folks, the signals are getting clearer every day if you know where to look.
And I'm Cole. I'm here to remind you that a clear signal can also be a train horn right before you get flattened. The world is confusing for a reason, Sunny. Let's not get run over by your optimism. Let's get into the news.
Never, Cole. Progress is always messy, and you have to embrace the chaos. Take what's happening with AI avatars. We're seeing this explosion of AI-generated personalities online, and it's fascinating. It's the democratization of content creation, allowing anyone to have a digital spokesperson. Think of the potential for education, for personalized coaching, for entertainment.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm horrified. Democratization of content is a lovely way to say mass production of propaganda. The latest trend is AI-generated doctors on social media. They look and sound convincing, but they're pushing dangerous medical advice, like telling people to take mega doses of magnesium. Real doctors are warning that this can cause serious health problems, like heart issues. This isn't progress, it's a public health crisis powered by deepfakes.
Okay, yes, the early implementation is a bit wild, I'll grant you that. But you're focusing on the growing pains instead of the long-term vision. This is a brand new technology finding its footing. The problem isn't the AI avatar, it's the bad information someone programmed it to say. The technology itself could allow a real, licensed doctor to reach millions of people in their own language 24/7. It could create a personal health coach for everyone on the planet. You can't deny that potential.
What good is the potential when the immediate reality is so dangerous? The entire point of these avatars is to blur the line between what's real and what's fake. There's no accountability. If you get sick from listening to a fake AI doctor, who do you sue? The algorithm? The anonymous user who spun it up? It's the perfect vector for scams and misinformation. And right now, there are absolutely no guardrails. It's snake oil for the 21st century.
It's a content moderation challenge, not a fundamental flaw in the technology. And speaking of flawed actors trying to halt progress, let's turn our attention to Washington, D.C. It seems Senator Elizabeth Warren is back on her anti-crypto crusade, and this time she's getting creative with the naming.
Oh, this should be good. What fresh legislative nightmare is she cooking up now?
She's calling it the Genius Act, spelled G-E-N-I-U-S. It's an acronym for Geopolitical Illicit Finance, Threat, and Exploitation. It's a classic case of political fear-mongering, trying to paint the entire crypto industry with the brush of illicit finance. It's so transparently desperate.
The name is ridiculous, I'll give you that. But the bill itself is no laughing matter. She is a bulldog when it comes to this stuff. From what I've read, this isn't just a messaging bill. It aims to apply the full weight of the Bank Secrecy Act to huge swaths of the crypto world. We're talking about holding node operators, miners, and even software developers potentially liable for how their tools are used. That's not just fear-mongering, Sonny. That is a direct existential threat to open-source development in the United States.
It's a threat that shows we're winning. They wouldn't be fighting this hard if crypto wasn't becoming a legitimate alternative to the system they control. This is the political establishment waking up and realizing this thing is not going away. They're trying to use 100-year-old laws designed for physical bank tellers and apply them to decentralized autonomous code. It's like trying to regulate the internet by arresting librarians. It's unworkable, and it just shows their fear.
But the chilling effect is real and immediate. Who in their right mind would want to write code for a new DeFi protocol if they know a hostile senator is trying to make them criminally liable for the actions of some anonymous user in another country? This is how you drive innovation, talent, and capital offshore. You're celebrating it as a sign of victory, but it could be a self-inflicted wound that cripples the American crypto industry. It's a massive, unforced error.
It's a battle, and in every battle, there are skirmishes. But while the politicians are fighting the last war, the real world is moving on and building the future. And this brings us to what might be the most significant adoption story we've seen in years. Crypto is coming to the housing market.
Oh no. Please tell me you're not about to celebrate putting the American housing market on a Bitcoin standard. This sounds like a recipe for a global financial meltdown.
Not a standard, Cole, a bridge. A group of Democratic lawmakers, including the ranking member of the House Financial Services Committee, has sent a letter to the Federal Housing Finance Agency. They are officially probing the regulator on how it's preparing for the use of crypto in the mortgage process. This is happening. They're discussing things like using crypto for down payment or even as collateral for the loan itself. This is the holy grail, connecting the world's largest decentralized asset to the world's largest physical asset class.
You're misreading the room entirely. That letter isn't a cheerleader's pep rally. It's a 5-alarm fire drill. They are probing the regulator because they are terrified of the risks involved. They are asking what happens to a homeowner if the crypto they used as collateral drops 50% overnight. Do they get a margin call on their house? Or are they immediately foreclosed on? This isn't an endorsement. It's a desperate plea for consumer protection before we unleash crypto's volatility on the single most important asset a family owns. We're talking about creating the next 2008 crisis, but this time with magic internet money.
You see a crisis, I see innovation. Imagine the possibilities. You could get a loan against your Bitcoin without having to sell and trigger a massive tax event. It unlocks your capital. It creates a whole new generation of financial products that are more flexible and efficient. The letter even mentions that excluding crypto could hurt access to credit for some communities. This is about financial inclusion and upgrading our ancient mortgage system.
It's about strapping a jet engine to a horse and carriage. The existing system may be old, but it has circuit breakers. Tying mortgages to an asset that can lose half its value in a month is profoundly reckless. The lawmaker's letter is begging the regulator to figure out guardrails because they know, and I know, that the industry will rush into this head first without thinking about the consequences. You can't build a stable housing market on a foundation of pure, unadulterated volatility. It's a systemic risk of the highest order.
It's a new frontier, and it requires new rules. But the trend is undeniable. From AI to Washington to the housing market, this technology is integrating with the real world. But I know what you need, Cole. You need to see the data, the charts, the hard numbers. Let's pull up the technicals for Bitcoin on TradingView and see what the market itself is telling us.
Please, let's leave the realm of speculative fiction and look at the actual tape. I have the one-day chart pulled up. What are the tea leaves telling you today, Sonny?
They are telling a story of profound and overwhelming strength, Cole. This is one of the clearest signals I've seen. On the daily chart, the moving averages are flashing a strong buy. On the weekly chart, you guessed it, a strong buy. And on the 1-month chart, you guessed it, a strong buy. Across every significant time frame, the underlying trend, the deep current of the market, is emphatically bullish. This isn't a guess, it's a mathematical consensus of strength.
You are conveniently ignoring the other half of the dashboard. Your beloved moving averages are lagging indicators. They tell us where we've been, not where we're going. Let's look at the real-time indicators, the oscillators. What do they say? Neutral on the daily, neutral on the weekly, and neutral on the monthly. There is a massive divergence here. The trend of the past is strong buy, but the momentum right now in the present is completely flat. The engine has stalled.
It hasn't stalled. It's in a high-level cruise control. This is the most bullish setup there is. A confirmed, powerful long-term uptrend combined with neutral short-term momentum is the definition of consolidation. The market is calmly absorbing all the sellers, catching its breath on a high plateau before the next explosive launch. That neutrality isn't weakness. It's the market coiling a spring. It's building energy.
That is a textbook bull trap. You're luring people in by pointing at the rearview mirror, at the beautiful road we just traveled. But the dashboard is telling you we've run out of gas. There's no buying pressure, no energy. The market has climbed a massive hill and is now sitting at the top, exhausted. That strong buy trend is just inertia. And when inertia runs out on a flat line, the only path left is down. This isn't a launch pad, it's the peak right before the fall.
That's all for this episode of Rekt Radio. I see an industry pushing boundaries with new technology, fighting off political dinosaurs, and integrating into the very fabric of our financial lives. The trend is your friend, and the trend is strong.
I see dangerous AI scams, a legislative hammer getting ready to fall, and a plan to tie the housing market to a volatile casino. Be careful out there. Don't become exit liquidity. You've been listening to Rekt Radio.